Hi friends, welcome to Pilates at Home. My name is Melanie, and today rather than doing an exercise or workout with you, I want to talk just a little bit for a few minutes about spinal mobility. This is a really important topic because so much of what we do throughout the Pilates world is about the spine and about mobility. And one of my favorite quotes by Joe Pilates is that you're only as young as your spine is flexible. So what he means by that is that you may have an older person in their 60s or 70s who can really move well throughout all the ranges of motion with their spine, and they're going to feel younger than a person, say, in their 20s who's got a stiff back. Um, so we really do train spinal mobility throughout the Pilates repertoire. So there are 4 ranges of motion that we work on throughout our workouts. The first being flexion, the second is extension, the third is rotation, and the fourth is lateral flexion. So I'll start with flexion, and that's basically just curving forward. Okay, so I'm flexing my whole spine here, and that would be something that you would see, say, in rolling like a ball. Okay, or we may do exercises where we're mostly just curving the upper spine. So we would be stable here and neutral, or maybe very, very slightly imprinted, meaning slightly flexed. But most of our flexion would come in the upper spine, and that's called the thoracic spine here, where I'm flexing mostly. So a lot of the exercises, you'll see this motion, okay? So that's flexion, and it's supposed to be mostly from the thoracic spine in most cases. There are some conditions, osteoporosis is a big one, where flexion is not good. So you'll want to avoid that if you've got osteoporosis, or if anything where your doctor has ever said not to do that. And that goes with any range of motion that your doctor has said, this injury, you're going to want to not do, flexion or extension for whatever reason. So listen to your doctor on that, because we don't want to cause injury. The person on the other side of your YouTube video, that's me, does not know what condition you may have or what your doctor has told you. So especially with online workouts, you want to police yourself on that. So the next range of motion that we'll talk about, or type of motion that we'll talk about, is extension. Now I'm going to use a foam roller for this a little bit here. We think of extension as wanting to take it from our low spine, our lumbar spine, because there's naturally a curve here. But actually that's not the case when we're training extension. As with the other motions of the spine, we're really working throughout our thoracic spine, so our upper spine. So if you're ever using a foam roller, you don't want to place it in your low back, to bend over it here. We want to place it further up. And this is just a nice stretch that I'll show you to train, and just it's a relaxation stretch for the upper spine here. Oh, and boy, does it feel good. My neck is just a little bit out today. I'm supporting my head through this, and that's actually really important, that you pay attention to your neck when you're training extension. You don't want to crane your neck. You want to keep your head supported if you're in a position like this, especially. And just make sure you're not going beyond where you can safely do that with your neck. I could just hang out here for an hour. But moving on, that's extension. Again, there are conditions where that is contraindicated. You shouldn't do it for, say, maybe spinal stenosis would be one. There are others, I won't go through them all. But if that's safe for you, it's good to train that and really work on flexibility in extension as well as flexion. So the next is rotation, easy to understand. It's just twisting. And I'm just doing a basic stretch here. There are lots of really yummy rotation stretches. And there are some really challenging rotation exercises. Thinking of saw as one, or spine twist. So those are some challenging ones. The last one that we're going to talk about is lateral flexion. So that's, again, really easy to understand, but there is some caveats. So lateral flexion is anytime we're bending to the side, okay? The only thing that I want to really say about this is, while it's easy to try to get more flexion by going way down like you see me do here, in most of our Pilates exercises, we're going to want to really stabilize your core against that. And again, use the upper spine. Okay, so your thoracic spine is where that lateral flexion should come from. So even though I look like I'm not getting as much flexion here, it's safe flexion, unless you've got something again where your doctor has said no, but you're stabilizing your core against the forces that could cause injury, as you go throughout your daily life. We're all about functional movement here, okay? So if you have one condition, scoliosis, that is one that you'll see this be an issue with lateral flexion, because they may be able to go a lot farther in one direction because of the C curve sideways of their spine, or the S curve, but they might not get as far the other way. So you may see this much on one side and this much on the other side, because of the way their spine is. And if that's the case for you, you may want to limit the range of motion on the side that you can naturally go farther, and just gently push yourself a little bit the other way, depending on the severity. I'm not a scoliosis expert, but working to balance and stretch, up more than trying to get over, especially on the side that you're naturally structurally going to. Okay, so that's basically what I have to say for you for spinal mobility. I really hope that helps you enhance your Pilates journey as you understand why we train the spine to keep ourselves feeling younger and moving better, and also keeping your core strong throughout, and working the upper spine so that you're doing those motions more safely. So I hope that helps, and thank you for joining, and I'll be back with more Pilates at home very soon. Thank you so much. Bye.